Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another week of Moments with Vivacious. I'm telling you, our lives after this week is going to be on a whole new journey. So many of us are losing hope. We almost have. I was speaking to a young man. Y'all know I'm work all these places, so I was working in the jail, and I was telling him that there's nothing sacred for that generation no more. I think we'll come after X because he was like 17, 18. So whatever generation that is. And there was nothing he could say but in agreement that you hold nothing special because we probably didn't give it to him. But today, after today, we're going to be full of everything we need to have and that we need to give the younger generations that come after us. We'll be proud to pass on a baton to these young people as we give them a new hope. Be right back. Call your friends, family, tell them tune in. We'll be right back. Welcome to A Moment with Vivacious, a freedom ride where we the people gather to build ourselves, our family, our community, and our nation. For the sound of America for Progress has reached critical mass. Understanding that we must put aside our differences to focus on the greater good. This is a place of collaboration to rebuild and restore our nation. Welcome to A Moment with Vivacious. Hello, hello. Good evening, Doc. How are you? To everyone, this is Dr. Tihara Lee.
Hey, I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear anything.
Well, we can hear you good. So why
You
don't
sound like you're muted, or I see your mouth moving, but I can't hear anything. Can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly.
I can't hear you.
No, 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 Nola, can you fix that? She can't hear me. While we are listening, I want you to introduce yourself.
I tell you what, we will rebuke these tech demons in the name of Jehovah Jireh.
I know that's right.
Okay, I don't know what's going on, but I can't hear. I can't hear you. Let me text.
Okay, I'm sending you a text. Uh-oh. Hello?
Okay, if you guys can hear me, I just want to introduce myself really quick. My name is Dr. Tahira Lee, the Rural Hope Doc, your neighborhood hope dealer. I'm all things youth, education, and community. And quite frankly, in this year of the horse, I'm just running with my light to glorify the kingdom. I know you guys have seen this youth out here. They are struggling. They are facing things that we had never had to face before, ever in time. And it's time for us to be bridges, mentors, aunties, uncles, the community moms and dads. And when we see something, we got to say something. So we're here to speak on Vivacious Speaks to talk about the issues at hand. And I'm hoping we can get this audio together.
Yeah. Can you hear me now? No.
It's still not allowing me to hear you. And I just want to say that intro was amazing. Let me tell you, sis, can you do an intro for me like that? Can we get the camera crew together and shoot it? Because I was like, if I felt like I was in a movie. Okay, that was beautiful. It was amazing. Yes, yes. Now, I don't know if we have anyone that is watching live that can tell us whether they can hear the both of us or just is it the issue on my side? Let's see. All right, so Nola wants us to leave and come back in.
You want both of us or just me?
Oh wow. So it sounds like it's just me. So that is so weird. I'll tell you what, it must be we have some demons to slay. The collaboration, when two or more touch and agree, he's in the midst. And we're talking about youth issues. And the enemy has our youth in a chokehold. So of course he's
Mm-hmm.
gonna tamper with the technology. Of
Mm-hmm.
course. So maybe I will go out and come back in and that will fix the issue.
Okay. We're going through a lot right now. Do you have a song? Do you have a song? Okay, we're going through a lot right now. And in our life, our whole country is just churned. Oh, hi. I'm not going to go out, Chris, because people are saying that they could hear both of us. So we just need her to come back. But we're going through, and the things that our country is going through, do we know how to even give hope, bring hope, renew hope? Can you hear me?
Hey, shots to the devil. Okay, we will persist and keep on. Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. Well, we good. And I was just saying,
Yes.
with all that's going on, this country is like a whole different, like how do so many people, Doc, and I don't know how to say all of this at one time. So I'm gonna say one thing. There's so many people, young and old, that are losing hope and losing faith, even in going through the future, going as far as going forward. So many people are going through financial issues that they've never been through before. And our youth, they just lost, without hope, without a way to know, a lot of them, how to build life. Where we go from here. Just start us off.
Absolutely. Yes, you said a mouthful there. And I think, how you said, oh, I have so much that I want to say and talk about this issue because there's so many issues in this one big issue, which is the youth is lost. Okay. They out here like Chris Brown with no guidance. Okay. They have social media bombarding them, telling them who they are, who they should serve, who they shouldn't serve, what gender they should be, what gender they shouldn't be, all these things, right? All this confusion. And mom and dad are working harder than ever because the economy is kind of jacked up, right? Where moms are being forced to work 2 and 3 jobs. And if dad is not in the picture or the family hasn't stepped up, 9 times out of 10, that child is left at home with either an older sibling or they're there at 9 and 10 years old raising themselves on their devices and being distracted all day and all night. So it just perpetuates the issue. I think the way out of this is to get back to basics, right? Create opportunities to increase the skill set in our communities, right? Because that old paradigm of I've got to climb the corporate ladder or I've got to work 100 hours a week, to make. How about you spend less? Okay, how about you look at your budget and you spend less? There's two ways to do it: make more or spend less. And if you could do both, that's the ideal situation. But oftentimes in this economy, you don't have that opportunity to do. AI is taking all the jobs. Our Hope Hub community helps with vocational training, connecting people with scholarships and grants and things like that to further and add more skills so they can be more marketable. But even after they've done all that, they are finding that I've applied to 25 jobs today. I've applied to 125 jobs this week, and nothing is happening because AI is out here. We can't beat it, so we have to join it, right? But yeah, I think a lot of people don't even understand what's facing our youth, like the real issues, because we're so busy being cogs in the wheel. You know what I mean? Vivacious, like we're
Yes.
just on autopilot working. Oh my gosh, the list is constantly running in our minds. We got to do this, we got to go there. And then next thing you know, it's February 11th.
Right, right.
What's going on with the time? I
I
feel like,
don't know. It's gonna be summer before we know it. But I want to greet our guests. Hello, Henrietta, Stephanie. It's so good to see y'all. That made me
yes.
happy. And thank you, Dia, for joining us.
Absolutely. But like you said, I do have hope, Vivacious, and we can keep hope alive as bridges, as community partners. Take that moment when you see something, you see a youth being misled or misdirected, to take that moment to say, hey, you don't have to go this way, or let me deposit a something in your spirit, a nice gesture, or just even a compliment. I saw a teen the other day that had all their belly out. And I could have been like, oh my gosh, like, could have, oh, why is she dressed like this? I just went over to her. I asked her, hey, what's your name? You're cute. You are so cute. I love your hair. And just started a conversation, find out what school she went to. And then when she warmed up, just went over and whispered. I said, hey, I just want to let you know that you descend from kings and queens. And it's okay to leave something to the mystery. Like, you don't have to show your midriff, but you are cute. You know what I mean? And she was like, yes, ma'am. You know what I mean? There's a way that you can say things. And I feel like I deposited something in her spirit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you, Barbara, for joining us. Um, I do totally understand. And
Yes.
I'm we were talking the other day, and I was telling them um we have to. I remember when I was in high school, graduating from high,
Mhm.
that was one of the most exciting times in our life. Everybody had a plan what we're doing, where we're going. And a lot of my family that I know, they're all going to college, including my granddaughter. She has more than enough money to go to Xavier University. She wants to study to be a doctor. But some of the things, that some of them have things. That's what I'm saying. Some don't. But
Yeah.
the feed they're fed so much negative things from the
Yes.
world and what's going on. They have to worry, after I spend all of that time in school, am I going to even be able to be a doctor?
Right.
Because we're going through things right now that we're going to have a nation.
Yes. That
when
part.
you have when you go I went tonight into Publix, and I saw I don't eat ham hocks, but I saw turkey butts and a turkey leg cut up, for your beans. And they were selling. I said, dog, I need
Yes.
$25 if I'm just gonna buy this to season my beans.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the part you were saying about mamas out working, also we have to train our children. We have to come back to the table to eat. Because
Yes.
if you add up how much money of fast food you spend every week, and if you had prepared meals, even though the price of meals is so high, but I believe you're still going to come out better because you may not spend as much money. You have time with your kids to talk. That's how daddy, in the evening, dad raised us. Everybody who watched my show know it. Every evening when dad came home, we had dinner. He would prepare dinner until we were old enough. once we were old enough, we had to warm. He cooked all the time, but we just had to warm the food and have ready for everybody. And they had this special place. You couldn't sit anywhere at the table. You had a special place at the table, and everybody had to talk. So,
Yes.
we can't leave our children. The man was blocking the aisle in the supermarket on his phone. Why do you have
Yes.
to be on your phone in the supermarket? And you go to somebody's house. Welcome, Sigrid. We're so glad you're here. You go to somebody's house and you're watching TV and everybody's in their phone and the TV is going. But tell us, how do you bring hope? What do you do? Because I'm sure you see some of the things, same things that I see.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The main thing I do is I get out here with my boots on the ground in the community. I'm pulling up at the churches. I'm pulling up at the community events, and not just me, my team and I. We're strategically located all over the United States and in some parts of Africa and Asia, and we are committed that we're called the Hope Dealer Network. We are hope dealers. We deal hope. Okay. That is our full-time passion. That is what we do. That's what we live and breathe for. And hope stands for helping others pursue elevation. Those others are our 7 to 17-year-olds and their parents and their surrounding communities. Because it takes remember how they used to say it takes a village
Right.
to raise a child? Well,
Yeah.
it's true now more than ever, right? It takes a village to raise a child, it takes a village to raise a dream. And I have a dream that those basics will come back and be restored because we have become a high tech, low touch society. We'd rather text than pick up the phone and call and hear somebody's voice. People are so surprised when I leave them voice notes. I'll be like, Vivacious, how you doing, girl? You so cute. I saw what you did today. You like, ooh, I got a voice note from the Hope Doc. I catch so many people off guard. And initially, I'm like, why are they reacting like I did something big? All I did was leave a voice note. But that's how out of touch we have become with each other, that taking a phone call seems foreign, leaving a voice note seems foreign. And so if adults we're having that reaction, what do you think the kids are doing? You know what I mean? They're not getting on the phone. They can't even hardly speak in full sentences or give direct eye contact. But yet they're supposed to go through high school, graduate, and get a job and be marketable, and they don't have the basic communication skills. They don't have etiquette. They don't know which fork to use. Like you want to, these kids want to be, oh, I want to be rich and all this stuff. But when you get into that room, when there's 7 and 8 figures, how do you know how to conduct yourself? You don't have decorum. You don't know what to say, when to put. These are skills that back in the day when I was going to school, we learned. It was called life management skills. Remember that?
Yes.
They don't have that anymore.
And in
Well,
my
guess.
in my society, we made our debut, and
Hmm.
all the classes we had, we learned how to act in church. We learned how to act for the different meals and what to eat and where was. We had to practice it, and then we went out to dinner to do it. We had to dress appropriately to those things. And I'm telling you, I am so seriously thinking about bringing that back.
You should. You should. I would love to partner with you on that effort. Our charter school, is for 7 to 17-year-olds. It is remote in nature, but we've created something where it is super engaging. We did partner with She Wins with AI, Charisma Carson, the AI juggernaut that she is, but she's made it so that you feel like you're there in the classroom, but you're not. But part of that curriculum is a mandatory course in etiquette. So I would love to partner with you to develop a remote etiquette class with Professor Vivacious Speaks. I feel like we should be, you can never get enough of etiquette, right? Because just helps you in so many areas, you know. That is that those etiquette classes activate a part of the brain that our kids and a lot of adults aren't using, right? They're not using. Um, Sometimes we have situations where, you know, a child is not having bad behavior, but they're having a hard time expressing their emotions, and that will kind of feel like a disruption. And then you'll talk to the parent and you'll be like, oh, okay, this is exactly why this is going on, because they don't got any sense either, you know. But I find myself catching myself saying, you know what? You don't know what you don't know. And if you don't know it and you don't seek to learn it, how are you going to pass that knowledge down to your kids? So I find myself zooming out a lot of times and trying to say, hey, we listen, we don't judge. We listen. Because I grew up in a very different environment from my husband. My husband was raised in the hood, in the projects. I was raised in the burbs. My mother worked and my father worked very hard to keep us in these schools that afforded us a different type of educational experience than he had. So when I we got together, I noticed like, man, like you ain't got no manners. What's going on? Like you're a little rough around the edges. But what I had to understand that through his upbringing, he did not have access to the things that I did. And so he didn't know any better. He didn't know. And that's why community is so important. And that's why picking the right partner is so important. Your partner is supposed to stretch you. Your partner is supposed to help you grow. My husband goes in these rooms with these millionaires and these billionaires, and you would think that he wanted them. His etiquette is so good. Okay.
Good
So,
job,
but
girl. Good
that's, you
job.
know, so that's why it's just important that when you see something, you say something, you do it from a loving place. You know, it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. And can you be compassionate? And can you, you know, and I know that everybody does not have the ability to teach, but everybody has the ability to lead by example. That's free.
I want to bring in our comments.
Yes.
Stephanie said they need to bring books back in the school. It's a little different from where we are. And
Hmm.
Nola Reed says, I agree with Stephanie Horton. They also need to bring back critical thinking in the curriculum as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we have an extensive reading list at Hope House University. One thing we added this semester was The New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And it talks a lot about the power, you know, it's from the power of the now. And these kids are like, oh my God, I gotta read. And, you know, but you start to see how their attitudes are shifting. And these kids are finishing books and finish before the deadlines. You know, I think it's because we were very thoughtful in the selection. I think we just have to be, you have to have strategy with this new generation of kids. Their attention span is shot. It's just really, you have to do it fun, innovate. Like we have our Bible literacy course where it's animated. It's, you know, it's interactive, and they're learning principles that we were all taught long time ago in Sunday school, being bored, like, oh my God, here goes the story again about Peter, you know, and Paul. But they're like, oh, the animation is great. It grabs their attention and they get the message and it sticks with them. So we just gotta meet them where they are, meet them in the middle. But yeah, we need books. Our kids can't read. They
And I
can't
think
read.
we're part of that. And I remember Stephanie gathering books to bring home to her children.
Yes.
And I know my Nola Reeds make her children read 45 minutes a day, even before they start
Yes.
their homework. So those two parents I know is up on that. But another thing that we can do. Hi, Kanisha. So glad you joined us. Another thing we can do is make that book time. And if we
Yeah.
don't have books, a library at home, um, we can take our children to the library at least once a week. Or some people may not be have a day every week, but schedule bringing them to books if we don't have books that can come to them. I remember when we were in school, they had book day where you can buy books. I don't
Yes.
remember the Secret Reader or something like that, and you just could pick the book that you wanted to buy and purchase a book. And we can institution integrate some of that into schools.
Absolutely. And as parents, like, we okay, we are the key bearers, right? So we have to do a better job of doing the things that we know that we need to do. If it we could make, because sometimes we're tired, right? Oh, I'm so tired. But our kids are constantly asking us for things. Mom, can I get something on that Sheen cart? Can I do DoorDash? Can I go over to Billy Bob's house after school or Susie Sarah's and do that? Okay, absolutely. Did you complete your reading list for the week? Did you can I get that summary of the chapter that you read to tie it to a reward to give them incentive to do the things that you're asking them to do so that they can get the reward that they're asking you for? That's what I do with my kids. They already know. Oh, I've got to have X, Y, and Z done, my homework, my reading, my chores, everything before I ask mom for that money on that Sheen card or that DoorDash order or to go to my friend's house. You know what I mean? So we've got to do that as parents too, to just hold them accountable.
Welcome, Felicia. Thank you for coming. And Stephanie says taking 30 minutes out of our time for your child will help them. And you're
Yes.
absolutely right. I want to go a little deeper. Now I might bring up some controversy. If you have something to say, everybody can say it. Um, we do not like to talk about class, different classes. So if we don't teach our children that there's different classes and different, um, I don't know another word to use, well, whatever. So we have to prepare them for where they want to go. And that's even at home.
Yes.
The same young man I was talking to Sunday at jail, his mom had called the police on him because he pushed her. I told my mom I would never forgive her. I said, let me tell you something, and this is what I believe. Your generation holds nothing sacred.
Right.
You cannot separate your mom and her place in your life and where you are. Well, what was I supposed to do? I said nothing. She took the phone. You were to do nothing.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this. You can cancel your mom out if you want, but you cancel everything you ever got and all the support that you will ever have, you canceled her out. I promise you, you're going to
Yeah.
need her. She's probably home missing, crying, and that's the hardest thing she ever had to do was call the police on you. But if not, you're going to take over her house. But you don't even
Right.
understand that is her house. And you should respect your mom in that way and be quiet. So what should I do? I say you should be quiet. The next time your mama say you can't have the phone, then you just go in your room and wait till she could have the phone. Thank you,
Right.
Gail, for being here. And she's agreeing. Gail is agreeing. Thank her. Thank your mom for that phone and ask her how you can do it better next time. Or have a talk with your mom
Yes.
as she is the mom. How much of that rent you paid? I just found a job and now I'm gonna lose it. How would you have acted if your supervisor told you to do something you didn't want to do on your job? And
Right.
we understand that. Um, Dear Sandra say representation matters. These kids have access to so much. If this school curriculum is not reaching children or with melanin. They will get it, then run social media. Through social media, I'm sorry.
Absolutely. I feel like the public school system is failing not just our black and brown community, but everyone. This is the very thing I talked about in Africa when I did my TED talk. And And I was thinking, I'm bringing this issue to Africa to talk about the United States public school system. And then so many parents and educators and leaders after my talk said, you know what? It's a global issue. We're also having this problem in Africa. I'm like, why? That was really mind blowing. And that's why I started to do research and work with the leaders over there. And now we have 3 satellite campuses out there in South Africa. And yeah, it's a global issue. The kids all over the world have lost a sense of purpose and motivation. And there's a lot of things that are missing in the curriculum. It needs to be a whole life literacy model where it does, you don't just learn reading, writing, arithmetic, but what about respect? Respect that we need to add respect for yourself, respect for your creator, respect for every living thing, your respect for your energy, because everything that you come into contact with, you cause a ripple effect of activations. And the choice is yours. I tell our students all the time and my kids that you are both the problem and the solution. So when you choose wisely, because not only are you making a choice for yourself, but you're making a choice for your great grandkids, your great great grands. You know what I mean? Because every action is going to cause that ripple effect. There are things that I had to face in my life that were terrible because of poor decisions that my great grandmother made. And
Can you
that's
talk,
just the truth.
can you talk to us about some of that?
Yes, absolutely. So when my great grandmother was allowing her child to get molested, and I say allowing because you turned a blind eye to your male company. You're messing around with your daughters and your sons, and they come to you and they say, hey, this is happening, and you brushing it off. Guess what? Now my mother had that situation and had, you know what I mean? And then now I got molested. But you know what? I try to be the person of change to change that trajectory. Unfortunately, I have 6 children. I have 3 girls and 3 boys. But one of them did become abused, sexually abused, but not by a family member. It was by a friend of hers. But yeah, so that's what I mean. There's how they say sins of the mother or sins of the father. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? That can trickle down into the next generation. It's like mindsets, that poverty mindset or that limited mindset. Like, oh, I've always lived at this amount of money or this opportunity, and I can't go any further because when I look back, that's all I've seen. But no, you have the choice to go forward and break free and be anything that you want to be. If God wills it, if you say, hey, me and you're going to come to covenant, God, and this is what I want, and I want to will this, and I'm going to follow you, and I'm going to treat myself right and other people right, and I'm going to follow the breadcrumbs because success leaves clues. We have a choice. He gives us the authority, the power to be co-creators. But if you are parents and our grandparents are speaking life into us or telling us that or telling others, and we're not telling our kids that, how are they going to tell their kids? You don't know what you don't know. That's what I mean. Like, so we just got to do a better job of seeking to understand and then passing that good information down and then killing that old thinking and those bad habits that don't serve us at the root. We got to nip that at the root you know
Mhm. I want you to address this for us because this is an issue that I think that this generation makes a much bigger issue, but it has always been, and that's
Mhm.
single parenting. Dad's single parenting is almost ignored.
Yes.
Mom's single parenting, I believe that society puts such a burden on that mom, like it's I don't know, you can't do it. Your children not gonna make it. Like putting them in a negative bag because that mom is a single parent. How can we bring hope to single moms without them feeling so burdened and pressured and guilty because they're a single mom? And children as well. I bet you come. I heard somebody tell this to a child one time, and this is
Mhm.
a big deal to me. I bet you come from a single parent home. Is your dad in the home? Well, they have plenty dads in the home.
Right.
So can we talk about that?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that this will bring hope to single moms who's watching this.
Absolutely. So I had my mother and my father in the home, but they both were absent parents. Okay. My mother, so sorry, somebody's knocking at the door. I was like, what is that door creaking? Listen, I'm telling you. Um, so my dad worked from day to night. So I can hardly even remember any conversations, any teachings, any lessons, anything from that time period. And then my mother, she was so paranoid with the things that was going on with her mental health that she could not be fully present in our childhood experience because she tried to control everything. So even as a single mom, you can be everything that your child needs in that moment by building yourself up, by telling yourself that you, and knowing that you are worthy, by not self-sabotaging yourself, by beating yourself up, right? I think we need to just do a better job of wrapping our hands around our single moms and telling them that, hey, you're doing a great job. What do you need? What does support look like for you? You know what I mean? And like you said, there's single dads out here that we're not talking and highlighting them. I know a bunch of single dads that are kicking butt and taking names that could win Dad of the Year awards, really showing up, being present. But they don't tell that story. There's single moms out here that are doing the same. And I think just because you are not married to or in a relationship romantically with the child's father, that you shouldn't have to be a single, you don't have to be a single mom because you have maybe your mother or your sister or your brother to come and fill in the gap as a community. We got to step up as a community for everyone.
Thank you, thank you for that because um, we look at single moms and in general so negatively. But I watched my aunt who helped daddy with us, as well as she had her kids. Her husband was in and out of their life, but we all did fine. And then I watched both of my sisters be single parents, and their children and their grandchildren are doing wonderful.
There
You
you
know,
go.
you
My
know,
daughter
all
is a
the
single mom.
mhm.
I'm a first time grandmother. And a lot of people were whispering about, like, oh, how's she going to do it? Oh, this is so terrible. She had this child out of wedlock. Baby, when I tell you, she is an amazing mom. This child does not want for anything. She has all the support. She has so much support that she will never know what a single mom experience feels like in that sense. You know what I mean? So yeah, I agree with you. What we've got to do, that negative thinking and that, oh well, poor you single like don't do that. That's correct. That's just wild to me. Like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? And I really feel like it's something that affects our community more, the Black and Brown community, because we don't because I don't see them doing that in other community, in Caucasian and Latin and you know what I mean? It's different. So I don't know what it is about our community that wants to make single moms what is that? What do you call scarlets, right? Is that what you
Hmm.
call it? Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's crazy to me. We're different times, you know, research is indicating that it's upwards to 70% of marriages are divorcing within 5 years in the United States. And it's something that is more common, but just because you're a single mom does not mean that you're not worthy, that you are not you're not damaged. There's nothing wrong with you. And we've got to really shed that. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
Right. You get a prize, really, right? Well, what we did, because we were even those of us that were married ended up divorced. Um, but we just put our children in one basket. We put them together, and everybody was their parent. I have four siblings. There's five of us, and all five of us is all of our children's parent.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
still have that relationship, and they came. And our children are the same way. We all in one box. When we call family, all of our children and grandchildren, and now some of us have great grandkids. Not me though. Great
No,
grandkids.
you said, whoa, no, you said, slow down, Savannah. I'm not ready for the great grandkids. Listen, Vivacious said, I am too fine and young to be somebody great grandma. I know that's right.
And and it's just wonderful. It's family is the big thing, and that's a big thing for me. Where do we, in bringing hope, how do we build, restore and rebuild family?
Somebody's got to be the bigger picture, a bigger person, and reach out, extend the olive branch. Forgiveness unlocks the key. We hold so many grudges in our family over silly things that keeps us disconnected and distant that it's ridiculous. We just need to put in our big girl and big boy pants on and say, look at, like, you know what's more important? Is this issue that I'm mad at my sis or my brother about? Is that life or death? Like, what would happen if something happened to one of us today? Am I gonna be like, hey, I know you in this casket, but let me talk about the issue that I've been arguing with you about for the last 10 years? No, you're not gonna do that. In the big scheme of things, we just have to do a better job of prioritizing and really just really growing up and realizing what's most important and focus on that. Drive and point all arrows to that thing. Like, there is a lack of social emotional intelligence and emotional IQ out here. And we've got to bring it to the forefront by having platforms like this to talk about it so that people will point inward and say, you know what? That thing that Vivacious Speak said the other day, that really resonated with me. Let me search inside of my soul and see how I can be better and bridge the gap for my family. Let me reach out to my uncle that I haven't spoke to in 15 years because I was offended as of something he was trying to tell me to be a better man. You know what I mean? Things like that. So I think the first step is just reaching out, starting the conversation.
Mhm. And I think that we have lost a lot of our culture.
Hmm.
Like holidays, holidays that were special to that family. I know the culture of the five of us. We kept culture um, through the years. We do certain things for certain ideas. When our children get a certain age, we all get together because we know we have to remember that we have to do this for this person graduating, and they all know that they're important to each and every one of us. I don't pass my great nephews and nieces sending them letters, sending them texts, because
Yep.
the young people, like you said before, they don't call. I'll send them a text and say, "Hey, I love you so much. Boy, you look so good with that horn. Are you gonna be in the classical band this year? Because I will come all the way to where you are to be in the concert, to my sister's grandson. And I think that how do we get back to, because we've lost our culture, I believe, I blame it on integration. But how do we bring hope back to restore our culture as a people?
Like you said, dust out those, think about those family traditions and bring them back. Like somebody has to take the lead in that family unit to bring these traditions back, to talk and be the voice and be the bridge. Because unless somebody takes action, there's not a way to bring it back. You know what I mean? We can talk about it all day and all night. But until someone says, you know what, I'm going to take the lead and I'm going to be the bridge for my family, it's not going to happen. It just isn't, because you know what? Everyone wasn't called to lead. There's more followers than leaders, but the leaders are sitting down. They're like, you know what? This is too hard. This is too much. My family's jacked up. It's never going to work. Stop saying it. F5, delete that. Speak it into existence. Pray over your family. Be the change you want to see. I'm charging all the leaders on this live today that are listening. You guys make the first call, make the first step. Who is going to do the family reunion next year? Or it doesn't have to be nothing big. It can be virtual. We have all this technology. We're gonna do a virtual family reunion. We're gonna mail everybody out the shirts, pick the size. We're gonna get on Zoom and just reconnect. That don't cost barely nothing. you know because I know that we're in economic times and people want to take vacations and do other things that they used to do as families, but you have to think outside of the box. There's more than one way to skin a chicken, okay, or a cat or a rooster or whatever it is, a carrot if you're a vegan. you know but that's
Mhm.
how we do it. We just do the work.
All right. Well, in closing, can you tell us how do you bring, dear saying something, the only way to bring it back is to know the communication piping that these kids use: music, social media, sports, pipelines that these kids use.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm on TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, X, whatever they call it, X now, on everything. I'm where they're at. And it's a scary place. I'm going to tell you that. To be on the other side of TikTok when you see all this foolishness, I'm like, why is this stuff all? Oh, because I'm out here in all these kids' business, like inspecting the expectation. And then when I see something, I say something. Uh, I'm mentoring this friend of my daughter's who is in her 20s now. And she was in her lingerie pretty much on the TikTok. I said, girl, you are so beautiful and gorgeous. You don't need to do that. I need you to take that down. She said, yes, ma'am. And took her right on down and hasn't put up nothing like that since. Just say something. Like, we have to take action. Right, my babies?
Yes, I'm telling you, this internet stuff is scary.
It is.
And I worked pediatric, child and adolescent mental health for
Mm,
almost 4 years. And the children from, I wish I could remember the name of this one site. And this is why we need to go to these sites, because
yes.
we need to get some of this taken down.
Yep.
But so many children came wanting to commit suicide, became devil worshippers, and all on this one site. Some of these, like, we need to be in there for more than, we need to tear some of that stuff down. We need to
Oh my
learn
goodness.
sites. Like the little girl who was just abused by a guy from something chat. And I hear it all the time. I don't remember the other word that go with the chat thing. Um, we need to be on those sites. Um,
Absolutely. We got to be on them sites. We have to be in the know, right? We have to know what's going
mhm.
on. You know what I mean? and take that 5 minutes or 10, 15 minutes to learn, to just see where, and right, chat GTP is so good. You could just say, hey, chat GTP,
That's what
what
I'm
are all
talking.
the, say it again,
That's it. That was that site where she met that
chat
guy.
GPT.
Yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
So what's that site about?
So it's not a, so chat GTP is not necessarily a site. It's an AI tool that you could use for good or bad. Right. So,
So how
and
can someone meets another person on Chat PTT?
well, it doesn't have a social function as of yet, so it must be something else, like maybe Twitch, because Twitch is like a streaming site where streamers can go on and have live interactions. And there have been predators, busted on Twitch. It's the same thing for TikTok. Like you can stream live on TikTok, and there's predators there. No, even on YouTube. Like it's crazy. Like it's there's no place on the internet that is safe for our kids. So they really shouldn't be on there. They really shouldn't. But since they are going to be on there, and there's no way to really eliminate it, because it would really take all of us to lobby and protest for them to do something about it, because that's how much is taking over the world. So we can't beat them. So we join them by educating them on these dangers, on these pitfalls, what to look out for, what the red flags are, how to protect themselves and monitor their usage. You pay that phone bill. You pay the phone. Hey, hand me the phone. Let me see with your browsing history. Like, what is going on? Like, listen, these kids are not paying these phone bills. That's our phone.
And Gail said, thank you, Gail. Gail says, I love that you speak in love. But Gail said Snapchat. Snapchat is dating. So that must be where the girl met the guy at.
Snapchat. Yep. Snapchat. Snapchat is a dangerous place, let me tell you. They have all type of crazy stuff on there. Ooh, listen, I can't unsee some of the things that I have seen on Snapchat. I
Oh,
wish I
wow.
could. Yes. And our babies have access to this, you know what I mean? And I hope that United States starts to adopt some of the trends that some of the other world has. I believe, is it Germany? Somewhere where you have to be 16 and over to have social media. You can't even get on there at all. They just passed it last year. So they need to do that here in the United States. You can't have a Snapchat unless you're 16 and over.
Well, I'm glad that we're in family too, because most of our young people, we're all on the same. We're friends,
Yeah.
and they got old enough to get on social media, and they're happy to be our friend. I think
Yeah.
they never told me that they weren't, but that's a good idea too. But we have to keep our eyes open, and we have to, young people, in hope, in a sense of, we have drawn this beautiful, like you're supposed to have a beautiful shape and a certain size and a certain look to be beautiful. And people who don't have that have self-love issues.
Yep.
Can we talk about that a little bit before we stop?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a whole, again, um, that is the dangers of social media. They're constantly bombarding our kids with misrepresentations of beauty and beauty standards. Like, I want to look like, don't you know that is like not even their real face or real body? They have altered that image. That is, you cannot obtain those dimensions in your body and in your face. That is a cartoon character. Okay, you want to look like a cartoon character? No, but it's just reinforcing within them that you are more than enough, that God made you in his image, that you are perfectly the way that he made you. Yet, so what, you got a big forehead. So what you got, you're not the size. You are beautiful and you have to learn, and it just takes time, right? One of the exercises we do with our students is they have to write affirmations every day. Science says that if you write something long enough that you start to believe it. So they have created a habit of writing, I am bold, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am smart, I love my eyes, I love my hair, I love my teeth, and then when you repeat those actions, and of course, because you've worked in this field with psychology, that your brain does not know the difference. So it just snaps into place, right? So a lot of it is just them retraining, unlearning, and relearning, what the things that we were, told. Like, baby, I used to go outside with my hair sticking out all over my head, ashy knees, playing outside. Listen, and it did not bother me. Okay, now these kids are not even playing outside, and they're so anxious about what they look like that it keeps them from being a part of the community. It's so crazy. I am a big sister for the Atlanta Big Brothers and Big Sisters Club, and my little we are overcoming that. Like, she's very hyper focused about how she looks, and she's 11. And the reason why she is hyper focused on this because she's a part of the social media community, and she's constantly been bombarded with these images that she could never obtain. These, no one can. Like, these are fake pictures. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's a real problem, Vivacious. What do you think we should do?
This is what I think I'm gonna read. Nola Reed's have a comment, but even some people, even after these shots, everybody's taking shots now, including me. I do it to lose weight. Everybody don't know a healthy way, and then some people just don't know when they're small enough because in their mind they keep seeing themselves big, even though
Yeah.
they've lost weight. So a lot of that, I believe, we have to get more into counseling than we ever did. When
Yes.
when the problem get that big, that person or that child needs counseling.
Yeah.
But Nola Reed says we have to build our children's self-esteem, not the internet. Too many parents sit their kids on the internet so they don't have to be bothered. So that's one thing I guess we could do, right, Nola? We could turn off the internet and love on
Yes.
our kids like we were saying Dad did at dinner time, you know? Get to know them,
Exactly.
love them. Because then you don't have to worry about when they're 17 or they're pushing you because you've taught them at 7. I'm talking, don't speak.
That part.
I'll let you.
Those,
Once my niece told me, well, they have to say how they feel. I don't believe her children was much. They weren't past 10. I said, well, where they gonna get the wisdom, the emotional wisdom, to develop feelings toward
yeah.
that? If we're not raising up even their emotions, not like they did us. You could cry if you want, we'll give you something to cry for. No,
Yeah.
but when it's appropriate, it's just like I told the young man. The scriptures say, the Bible says, be angry, but sin not.
Yeah.
And everybody want to say there's no emotions on the other side. But I'll debate that because the word says that God is love. So
Yeah.
if God is love, that emotion is on the other side. And Jesus expressed when he was angry, he turned over tables in the temple.
Yeah.
So matured emotions, negative and positive, and the parents, as we raise up our children and developing their emotions, I believe would also be a big part in that. Because
Absolutely.
I looked horrible some days. I wasn't always well kept when I was a little girl. But before my mama died, my mom had a cousin, Papa Melvin. We called him Papa Melvin. And Papa Melvin said, you are so beautiful. You can be anything you ever want to be. And my mom used to always say, you are so beautiful.
Oh.
And then My dad would say that he thought I was beautiful, and my sisters, my family, we do that to each other. And I went before a grown woman, my cousin's mother-in-law. She said, "You are ugly child." I said, "Oh no, I'm beautiful."
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, you are ugly." I said, "No, not me.
Yeah.
No, not me. I'm not ugly." So Nola, I think you're right. When we put those seed in our children, and when we take that place as a parent, I'm sure that this generation have to get a medium from my generation,
Yeah.
because my generation wouldn't let us say anything. So we have to come to a medium to mature our children's emotions. Then I think that we'll do a little better.
Absolutely. Listen, where do we send our tithes and offerings? Because you are preaching today, Vivacious.
We can send it to Vivacious $ Viva VIVA Speaks.
Absolutely, yes. Put your tithes in the bucket. Listen.
But look, leave us with a little something. Leave us with a little something.
Yes, the world needs hope now more than ever. I'm just going to recap: when you see something, say something. You know, drink your water, say your prayers, and mind your business.
Thank you so much for being here. I
Yeah.
want to thank every guest that signed on tonight. Please press like, because y'all come, but y'all don't press like. Please press like. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you, Dr. Lee.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, and follow the journey, morehopenow.com. We out here running with our light. And I invite you to become part of Hope Dealer community by just being the vivacious speaker and life giver that you are. Thank you so much. You are the gift.
Thank you. So are you.